Okay, here we go. The Walking Dead, Season 9, Episode 3. Alright, The Walking Dead is really known for its slow starts, and sometimes really meandering seasons. Who could forget white people sitting on a porch? This season, however, Season 9 has taken a different approach. It's actually moving forward pretty decently. In the beginning, we have Rick and Michonne, and Michonne is trying to write some covenant to create some kind of law, and Rick calls her the leader of the community. Of course, we all know this is foreshadowing because Andrew Lincoln is going to be gone by the mid-season finale. Rick is so invested in this new world, he decides that he wants to start a family with Michonne, to think about the future, and she agrees. And we get treated to this montage of Rick and Michonne and Judith just moving around Alexandria. Things are normal and peaceful and happy and almost idyllic. Of course, this does not last. A bubble is quickly burst in Rick's little family time when Justin was found dead. As we know, Justin is the savior that was kicked out last week. And so the saviors understandably feel very vulnerable. They don't have any weapons, and they're the ones that are going missing, and nobody knows why, and nobody knows who's doing it. And a confrontation erupts between the saviors and everyone else, with the saviors willing to grab shovels and face off against guns, which actually makes very little sense to me. I get that they're scared, but what exactly did they think they were going to accomplish faced off against a group of people with guns? Um, so I guess the saviors just aren't very bright. Uh, Alden, he wants peace, and he tries to calm the saviors down, and he's soccer punched for his um efforts. Rick shows up, and he manages to calm things down, and Alden mentions that maybe Rick could consider giving guns to a few of the saviors that he trusts, because then people would feel more secure and feel like they're protected. But of course, Rick, at this point, Rick isn't ready to give in. What they decide to do instead is sort of look for the killer. Now, the fact that the wound on Justin is very narrow leads to two quick suspects, Anne and Daryl. So, Anne, Rick goes to see Father Gabriel, thinking that they were on watch together, that Gabriel would be able to inform him about Anne's whereabouts and what she was doing. And Gabriel lies and claims that they were together the whole night, so he gives her the alibi. Next, Rick goes to see Daryl, and Daryl's like, "If I did it, I would say so. I'd have no regrets about killing him." Um, and an interesting conversation ensues with Daryl pointing out that this getting vengeance against people who wrong them is exactly the sort of thing Rick used to do, and he feels that Rick's new "let's have peace, everybody forgive everybody and move on" is sort of a form of hypocrisy. And in many ways, he's not wrong, because Rick had a burn it all down philosophy. Who could forget his war with the governor, right? But then Rick pushes back by pointing out that Daryl didn't kill him, and he left his brother Merle on a roof to die. And Rick believes that's one of the best decisions that Daryl ever made by not killing him. So the two men sort of leave it at an impasse. But I think it's one of the greatest exchanges Walking Dead has actually had for a really long time, and it shows the gulf of difference between Rick and Daryl. A grid search started to try to figure out what is going on. Then um, B is knocked out and a rat is taken. Now this heightens tensions even more, because they've already told them about Justin, and now there's yet another missing savior. So they have to come up with a solution, and come up with a solution before the rest of the saviors realize that a rat is missing. Highlighting the issue is Jerry, who's like, you know, He doesn't really have much characterization, but he has a way of being there to say the right thing exactly the right time. And this is the perfect example of it because Jerry questions when they find the guilty party, are they going to do a Negan or a Gregory? And that's a question nobody answers. The truth is, nobody knows. They still don't have a covenant. They still have very different approaches. Some want all of the saviors dead. Then you have Rick who thinks, we can go back to some kind of semblance of society and lock people up when they offend. Anyway, it's Daryl and Maggie who end up finding a rat, and she has been kidnapped by Oceanside. It seems that Oceanside wants vengeance, and rightfully so if you think about it. Their entire male population was killed by the saviors. And a rat is guilty of killing a little boy, saying no exceptions as she was doing it. In her defense, a rat begging for her life claims that she really had no other options. Now, Maggie and Daryl were originally there to stop the murder of a rat, but when they realize why a rat is being killed, they simply walk away without a word, go about their business, and allow Oceanside to kill a rat because, Oceanside that reveals that they felt that they could take vengeance on the saviors after Maggie did what she did with Gregory, opening up a door. And for them, a rat is the last person on their list. A rat is the last savior who was involved in slaughtering their people, and this is justice to them. You know, so Maggie may have opened the door to the ocean side, but they've also opened the door to her because now she's thinking, let's go and see Negan. This is absolutely going to lead to a confrontation with Rick. Maggie claims that they tried it Rick's way and it's not working. But in actuality, they didn't really try it Rick's way. They didn't really open themselves up. They didn't really actually consider forgiving the saviors. They never grew to trust them. They never gave the saviors real opportunity to earn trust. So I don't think that's fair to say. Um, and on the other side, we have, of course, I have to talk about Anne and Father Gabriel. Anne has always been shady. And so we saw her last week with a helicopter, and we didn't really know what that was about. This week, we learned that she was treating people for supplies for her people, and she wants to go. It's not lost on Anne that she was quickly suspected when the saviors went missing, and now she rightfully believes that she'll never be trusted. Gabriel, no matter how much he may be infatuated by Anne, however, his first loyalty is to Rick. And he makes it clear that he won't leave with her like that and that he has to go tell Rick. And what does Anne do? Anne knocks him unconscious. So much for true love, at least in Gabriel's case. But we know we haven't seen the last of it. This is just the beginning of this helicopter storyline. We just have to figure out where this is going. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up real quick. Here's a few things that are bothering me. We know that Maggie and Rick, they're going to be done by mid-season. They're absolutely going to be done. Andrew Lincoln is leaving the show. So with the foreshadowing with Michonne and the possibility of Michonne being pregnant, I really don't like the idea of this burden being left to her. We saw what happened with Maggie after Glenn died, right? And this is just a setup, I feel, to make Rick's death more emotional. That's what they're building towards. We still don't know how it is that Maggie and Rick are leaving the show. I know for sure that Rick has got to die. That's the only way. He's not just going to go off on his own and pull a Morgan. This character has to die. So I don't see why they need to invest more emotional drama in it beforehand, given that it's already been 9 seasons. Lauren Lohan, who plays Maggie, um, I really, really don't know. But this idea of like them going to war against each other doesn't feel real and it doesn't feel feasible. They're just not selling that plot to me.